In this video, I provide an overview and tour of the camping you'll find at the Big Cypress National Preserve in Florida. Let's get to it. We share the best camping locations in the USA.
Hi guys, we hope you enjoy the video.
Check out our RV and camping related gear at our Amazon storefront. Link in video description. Hi folks. What you're looking at right here is my camping map. I have it zeroed in on South Florida. And there's a couple things I want to touch base with you on before I dive into the camping you'll find in the Big Cypress National Preserve. The Big Cypress National Preserve is right down here in the southern tip of Florida. And there's a lot to see and do in that area. But one of the reasons that I like going through that area along US Highway 41 is it's an excellent way to bypass the heavy traffic both on the east and west side of Florida. Many times when I visit the Big Cypress National Preserve, I'll come right down through the center of Florida here, US Route 27 or 17, and then I'll tie into Route 29. You see this Route 29 coming out of LaBelle, and it will drop you right down onto US Route 41 just outside of Everglades City, and then you can access the Big Cypress National Preserve from there. Lots to see and do in this area. It's a very scenic. It is remote. You do have self-service in certain areas, and I'm going to cue you in on where that is. But you see here on my personal camping map, I have 3 icons here, and those are campgrounds within the Big Cypress National Preserve. They're affordable. There's one of the 3 campgrounds that has electric. You see this little electric symbol there. This is Midway Campground. It does have electric. I've stayed there twice. First time right after we retired in 2019. And the last time was just this month. I'm recording this video in February of 2023. We had such a good time. The first time we visited in 2019, we decided to come back and revisit the area, and we just had a ball. So this is why I'm sharing this information with you. There's a lot to see and do there. The campgrounds, all 3 of these campgrounds are affordable. So folks, before I shift gears and start showing you these 3 different campgrounds that you'll find in the Big Cypress National Preserve, there's a few other points I want to cover. First of all, like I said, there is a tremendous amount to do along US Highway 41, going from Naples all the way to Miami. And I think, in fact, I know I'm going to do another video just on that topic. Things to do along Highway 41, going through the Florida Everglades. And I'll probably show that video the week after I post this video to YouTube. So I wanted to put that out there for you. And I'm giving you that little preface because a lot of the things that I would be talking about normally, I'm going to say for that video, the things to do around these campgrounds. But the purpose of this video is to take you to these 3 campgrounds and show you the camping opportunities that you'll find in the Big Cypress National Preserve. So right now I'm going to shift gears and I'm going to bring up Google Earth. So you see Google Earth on the screen right now. And the first place we're going to go is Burns Lake Campground. So while we're flying to Burns Lake Campground, one of the things I want to point out is this is the first campground you're going to come to if you are traveling from Naples toward Miami on US Highway 41. And let me back it out just a hair here so you can see US Highway 41. Okay, so this is US Highway 41 right here. And like I said, there's all kinds of things to do along this road. But as far as camping goes, this road is accessible. It's a little narrow, but you can get a big rig down that road. These campsites back in here by Burns Lake are big rig friendly. They have pull-through sites, and I'm going to show you some of those sites here in a minute. But in some cases, this is like a lane and a half. So if you meet somebody on this road, you know you both have to go slow so you can get around each other. But it's still big rig friendly, and there's no height clearance issues going down this road. You'll be perfectly fine taking a large Class A or a fifth wheel down that road. It makes a loop when you get to Burns Lake. And one of the things I want to show you, zoom in a little bit before I move to another tool that I'm going to use, is this is the beginning of the campground loop right here. And it's well signed. And when you first pull in here, you're going to see a campground host. The campground host they had on duty, husband-wife team, very nice people. I spent a little bit of time talking to the campground host there. And these are all pull-through campsites. If I zoom in a little bit more, you can see. You can get a big rig. You can even leave your tow vehicle hooked up to your trailer or fifth wheel, or your Class A and your towed, and pull in here and everything will fit. These are very long campsites. My favorite ones are these last three down here, and I'll show you photos of those a little bit later in the video. But while we're here on Google Earth, after you leave these campsites, and these are reservable, you can reserve these on recreation.gov. Again, affordable camping. You can look at the prices up on recreation.gov, but comparatively speaking, these are very affordable campsites. This is a dry camping experience. They may have had some fresh water here. I want to say that there was a fresh water fill somewhere down here by the campground host, but I really didn't zero in on that. So that's something you'll probably have to look up. There is no dump station here. There is no water at the sites or electric. This is dry camping, but very nice sites. Some of these have picnic tables. I believe there are fire rings. Yeah, you'll see when I show you the photographs. And when you hit the end of the camping area, this turns into a day use area. This is like this large area here is a overflow parking area. There is a ATV off-road trail you can see that goes out into here, and I think you have to have a separate permit to go back if you have an off-road vehicle. But then you round the corner here, and this is a very pretty lake. When you round the corner, this is a vault toilet over here, and there's another vault toilet over here by the campground. But this is a set of vault toilets, so you have no flush toilets here. These are vault toilets. And then in this day use area, they have some picnic tables set up. And then a little bit further down, if you're a tent camper, these are tent campsites, and you can reserve these as well. They have bare boxes with those campsites, those tent campsites, and I believe there were picnic tables and fire rings as well there. So yeah, at least looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 tent campsites that you can reserve. And then you have some more overflow parking down in here, and then you come back out of the campground. So right now, And I'm going to do this for all three of the campgrounds. Right now I'm going to cut to a map of the campground that shows the reservable sites, and then I'm going to walk you through what the sites look like. I've taken photographs, and I'm going to walk you through those photographs. So let's cut to that portion of the video. Okay folks, well, this is a map that is provided courtesy of recreation.gov, and it shows the reservable sites on it. And the sites that I recommend are these last three here. Be Site 6, Site 7, and Site 8. And I'll put some photos up for you to give you an idea what that looks like. And according to the legend down here, they do have picnic tables and fire rings. And I counted these up. These are the tent campsites on the other side of the lake, and there's 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Really pretty lake. Nice and quiet out here. You're a ways from highway, US Highway 41, so you don't get all that traffic noise. Like I said, the campground hosts were wonderful. So with that, the next campground we're going to go to is Monument Lake. That's also a dry camping experience. So let's shift gears, and I'll pull up Monument Lake on Google Earth for you. Okay, so our next stop, folks, is Monument Lake. So let's get Google Earth flying there. And if I had to rank order all three of these campgrounds you're going to find in the Big Cypress National Preserve, Burns Lake would be my least favorite. I would camp there. All three are on my camping map. And I don't have anything on my camping map that I wouldn't camp at. So, but if you were traveling through and you couldn't find a vacancy at Midway or at Monument Lake, then my fallback would be Burns Lake. So we've arrived at Monument Lake. Let me blow this out just a little bit so you can see Highway 41. It's right off of Highway 41. It is, again, it's a very large lake, and there are a lot of facilities here. Now, what I want to point out to you is, you see this right here? That is a tower, folks. That is a cell tower. Yeah. And there is blazing fast cell service here on Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. So you have far superior cell service at Monument Lake than you will at either of the other two campgrounds that we're going to talk about in this video, Burns Lake and Midway. They both have very iffy cell service. Monument Lake, you have the cell tower right by the lake. So if cell service is important to you, Monument Lake is where you want to be. Now, this is a dry camping experience, but they have a fresh water fill, and they also have hot showers and flush toilets. So that's a big plus. And even Midway Campground does not have hot showers. They have flush toilets at Midway. You have vault toilets at Burns Lake, where we were just at. But here, this is the only campground in the Big Cypress National Preserve that has hot showers. So people come from the other two campgrounds, and they're allowed to come to Monument Lake to take a hot shower if you camped at one of the other campgrounds. So there's both tent camping and RV camping here. I just wanted to point this out to you. This cell tower right here is very notable. And let's zoom in just a little bit more before I jump to another portion of the video here. Okay, so you enter the campground here. and it makes a loop in this direction. And as you around the loop here, there's some campsites right in here, and there a couple of the campsites I recommend is on this part of the lake. They are solar friendly. Remember, this is dry camping, and no electric hookups. So as you're around the bend here, this is a shower house right here, as well as the restrooms with flush toilets. The campground hosts do have full hookups, which is nice for those campground hosts, and they take very good care of that restroom facility. It was like spotless when I was in there, and I'll show you some photographs of that. But these are the campground hosts right in here. And then this triangle area, let me zoom in a little bit. This triangle area right in here, this is where the tent camping is. And there are reservable tent campsites that that are back in there. And then I am recommending some of the campsites along this back area. Now there are campsites where you have tree overhead obstructions, and I'm going to point several of those out. I'm not going to take you through all the campsites in this video, but I am going to recommend a few to help you out on your reservations. And I'll show you the photos of the campsites as I walk you through this. But I recommend some campsites down in here, especially on this end. And then some of my top picks are over on this end, where you have no overhead obstructions, and the campsites are flat. Over here you have a few that have a little bit of a grade, but these are flat campsites, and they're solar friendly over on this side. And then there's another couple up in here that I recommend. So I'll kind of walk you through that when we get to the map of the reservable campsites that I'm going to show you here in just a minute. Oh, let's see. Let's go ahead and blow this back out just a little bit more to see if there's anything else I want to address. Oh, this area right in here is a day use area, and it's very scenic, very pretty. The lake looks wonderful from this vantage point, and people do come in to Monument Lake just to use the day use area. So I've probably shown you, I'm going to put some photos up during the talk that I just gave you, and I'm going to put even more up along with talking you through the campsites that I recommend at Monument Lake. So right now I'm going to jump to the recreation.gov map of Monument Lake. Okay folks, well this is the recreation.gov map of Monument Lake. My top picks for this back row where the trees are located are sites 23, 24, 25, and 26. My top two picks are Site 27 and Site 28 for Monument Lake Campground. They're solar friendly, and you can get your rig level. The next site that I would recommend is site number 2. This one right here. Site number 2 is one of my top picks as well, and that is a solar friendly site, very large site. And if I have a pic of that campsite, I'll throw that up for you as well. So that will wrap up our discussion of Monument Lake Campground, and right now I'm going to jump to Google Earth and I'm going to fly you to Midway Campground. Okay, we're on the home stretch folks. Let's go to Midway Campground. As I said before, this was our second time camping at Midway Campground in February of 2023, and cell service was pretty marginal for Verizon, and even more so for T-Mobile. We did use AT&T the most, and I will throw the upload and download speeds on the screen for you, but and I was only able to stream with my iPad as opposed to my phone. iPad gets a little bit better reception, and I do have all three carriers on my iPad. I was only able to stream with AT&T. So I'll put the upload and download speeds on the screen for you, and you can make of that as you will. Like I said, Monument Lake has the best cell service because the cell tower's right there. So this is Midway Campground, and we like Midway Campground because they have electric. They now have 30 and 50 amp electric service at Midway Campground. They also have a freshwater fill and a dump station. So you have everything you need at Midway Campground except for good cell service. I was able to stream, like I said, on AT&T, and that was nice watching, you know, what we wanted to watch in the evenings. But let me show you around Midway Campground. We were now when you pull in, it does make a loop, but what I want to point out to you is you have a cross section here, so you don't have to worry about pulling in and out off of Highway 41 if you want to come in and dump and get fresh water and leave, because you have these two pass-throughs right here. So you can pull in here and come around and then make your way into the freshwater fill and dump station, which is right here, and then go right back out whichever way you want to go out. So but Melody and I were down here in site number 12, second to the last. The top sites, my top picks for this campground, are down here on the ends. Right here, and again I'll take you on the campground map and show you what sites those are. Over on this side you have some tree cover over here, and there are some sites where you'll have some overhead clearance issues if you have a big rig. So I don't take you through all the campsites when we go to the campground map, but I give you my top picks, just like I have with the other campgrounds we've looked at. This lake is a little bit smaller than the other two lakes, but it is pretty. There is an alligator in there, at least one. And let's see, well, you have the freshwater fill, you have a dump station, you have electric, so everything you pretty much need except for good cell service. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time right here. I'm going to jump to the map and show you what my top picks are. So let's do that. Okay, folks, well, this is the map of Midway Campground. These are the sites that show all the reservable sites, or the map that shows all the reservable sites. And the first site I'm going to recommend is campsite number 8, which is right here. Campsite 8. And the next site is the site that I was in, which is campsite 12, second to the end. And then campsite 13 is one of my top picks. You have all this green space over here, and no one off, you know, in front. It would be off to your seating area. You have no one off next to you, basically. So as you're round the loop here, and by the way, this is a amphitheater. It used to be an amphitheater. They've taken the seats out and the screen and all that, but there is a campfire ring back in there. I would take Milo back in there. He'd do his business. We'd pick it up and then head back to the camper. But it's a nice place to take your pet if you want to walk your pet back there and don't have to worry about the alligator, which there is an alligator in this lake. My next top pick is Site 14. For the same reason, nice open space and you have no one off in this direction. Site 15 and Site 16 are also keepers. I'd recommend either of those 3 sites. Again, Site 13 is my top pick for this campground, as well as Site 14. There are some sites up here that you want to stay away from, and I had written down Site 24. And if I have a pick of why you want to stay away from Site 24, I'll throw it up, but it's for overhead clearance issues. And if you have a slide, you'd have a problem getting your slide out. Some of these campsites over here, you won't be able to put an awning out, and that's because of the tree cover. So let's see. Okay, those are my top picks for Midway Campground. Well, I hope you enjoyed this overview of camping in the Big Cypress National Preserve. And I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you got something out of it. That's why we make them. If you like this video, like and subscribe. And I'll see you down the road.